Welcome to Barkhausen Nature Bites. Today we're talking about these two critters right here, which are ticks. So I guess you can consider this to be a TikTok video. It's something the kids are into. So for ticks, definitely going to be experiencing more and more here in the spring and summer months, and even going into the fall. And here in Wisconsin, we actually have 16 species of ticks, believe it or not. But don't worry, not all of them want to suck your blood. You know, they don't want that really delicious blood meal. I hope you're having breakfast for all this right now. For ticks here in Wisconsin, these two species, the ones we more commonly get to experience, and they will suck your blood for that blood meal. So we have an American dog tick. I call it a wood tick very often. We also have a deer tick. And the way to tell them apart, this one's really crawling around pretty good. Just found this on me a couple days ago here. For the deer tick here, it's smaller. The female have a little red right in the back side of herself there. The males be a little smaller yet with no red on them. So deer ticks, that's a full grown size, very small. American dog tick or wood tick, this is the male. They'll have some like little white pattern striping on their back, and that's a male size. Females be a little bit larger, but more of a plain back. So really a big difference between these two ticks is the size. Deer tick's a little bit smaller, wood tick's a little bit bigger. And for the ticks, they're not an insect. They're actually more closely related to spiders. They have 8 legs, except when they're young. They'll actually go through different growth stages or life stages. So start off as an egg. Egg will hatch and turn to what we call a nymph. That nymph will only have 6 legs. Look for its first blood meal, a small mammal. Get that blood meal, molt, turn to a larva. That larva will have 8 legs, and it's going to overwinter like that. The following spring or summer, it's going to get another blood meal. You stay put there. Buy another blood meal, and it's going to molt again into the adult tick, like one of these right here. And that adult female, if she could find a blood meal that fall, she'll mate, lay eggs, and then die. If she can't, well, she'll overwinter. Next spring or summer, she'll find a blood meal, mate, lay eggs, and then die. So for ticks, you know, one of the things is, how do you avoid ticks? Well, they like that tall grass, brush areas. So one of the things I've heard before from people is like, well, they'll drop out of trees on you. Not so much the case. They don't want to go too high up. You know, if they go higher up, they go, the drier it is. They gotta stay hydrated. So they'll only go up in the grass a couple feet, and if they get dry, they'll climb back down, and they'll climb back up once they get hydrated over and over. Climb up in the tree really wouldn't be a good thing for these ticks. And once they're on that vegetation, they're going to do something we call questing. So like a noble quest for blood, if you will. They'll go to the edge of that vegetation, and they'll stick out their forelegs, not their forelegs, but their front 2 legs, and wait for something to walk by to latch onto. So it's kind of like they're out there on the grass and the brush with the arms out, ready to give something a hug, basically a tick hug. That's kind of nice. So for the ticks, you know, many of them don't have eyes, so how they find something to latch onto is they have something at the end of the forelegs called a Howler's organ, and basically that's a little organ that senses carbon dioxide, ammonia, pheromones, just some things that help them find their future food source, or walking buffet of blood, if you will. So to avoid them, kind of those long grass areas, brush areas, that's where they're going to be. Long pants, long sleeves are definitely nice. You can spot them in clothing before they get on your skin, especially if that clothing's lighter in color. You can spot them a lot easier. Big thing is, you know, repellents also work pretty well, but really the big thing I would suggest is do a tick check. After you go walk through the brush or grass, check yourself right away for ticks. When you get back home, check yourself again. If you find them pretty quick, that's really your best bet, along with some repellents and that long sleeve, long pants. So one of the things we often worry about is diseases from ticks. And yeah, there are diseases with ticks, particularly the deer tick could carry Lyme disease. It's got a bacteria that it could inject into you, and it cause Lyme disease. And when I say inject into you, ticks actually, they'll spit into you, and that their spit will stop your blood from clotting, so they keep getting that meal. So it's really weird kind of think about. But for Lyme disease, you can't get those from deer ticks, but the deer tick has to be biting you for at least 24 hours, really 36 to 48 hours. So the big thing is, if you're checking yourself out and you find that tick right away, you probably don't have to worry about Lyme disease too much. You need to be on you for at least 24, really 36 to 40 hours before you actually get Lyme disease from a deer tick. So do a tick check. So let's say you're out there and you do find a tick on you, and it's crawling on you. Just grab it, do what you want with it. If you find when it's biting your skin, I've heard lots of different things over the years. Really the best way is take a pair of tweezers or forceps, grab that tick right close as you can to its head, right where it's kind of biting your skin, and with slow, steady pressure, just slowly pull it away, and it'll release, and you get the whole tick in your forceps or tweezers. If you grab it too quick, like with your hands, you might break off the head of your skin, it could get infected. So really best bet, slow, steady pressure, as close as you can to your skin, and it should release, and you can do with it what you will. So ticks, yeah, you know, they're not the most fun thing in the world, but it's just part of being out there exploring the woods here in the spring and summer months. So it's something to keep your eyes out for, do little tick checks and stuff like that. If you ever had a random thought, like, do other things get ticks? Like, do polar bears get ticks? Well, yeah, they get our ticks. Thanks for watching Barkhausen Nature Bites.